If I did not say it, guess what? If you hadn't figured out yet, it is November the 6th, 2024. Wednesday is the day after the election of 2024, and a day where we actually have decisions that are basically made. Now, these are all projections, things going forward, but let's get well, off the bat, let's get this taken care of right now. And the map you'll see, the picture you see in the video if you're watching doesn't quite fit the headline we have. The headline is Donald Trump is elected 47th president of the United States in remarkable political comeback. And this is coming from AP. When I opened up my stuff at 3:15 Central Time to get ready for this one, AP had Donald Trump at 267 of votes, with Kamala Harris at 224. CNN had Trump at around 266, various places or whatever. The only place I saw in a quick look that looked through, I didn't check out Fox because I was kind of in a rush, but I turned on the News Nation feed we have here, and they had Trump at 280 already. They declared him the winner, and he declared himself the winner around 2 in the morning with projections. At this moment, at this time, AP and most of the major networks have projected that Donald Trump is sitting at around 276 or so electoral college votes. As yes, they'll still take a week to count them all, but they're still sitting there right now. That gives him that magic 270 to win the election. Vice President Kamala Harris will speak to her people sometime today to thank them for what's going to happen. Donald Trump, no appearances on the morning except his 2 a.m. more or less acceptance speech saying he basically got it. But Donald Trump becomes the second president to ever have a split decision, a split term in our nation as president, being now 45 and 47. He all along said he was going to win. He all along said things were going to happen. He basically said what happened 8 years ago when he won was a big deal, and what happened 4 years ago was a travesty in which he never actually said he lost the election. Now we shall see what's going forward and how we'll go what's going to happen going forward. And the biggest sort of thing that makes the whole morning a bit of a comedy of comedies is watching people on some of the networks that I watched now have to backtrack and now make nice. I did not see some of them before I got the big magic number saying that Trump was the winner. In fact, that literally came in about 10 minutes before we were wrapping this. We're wrapping about 4:30 to start processing stuff. And as I was wrapping up, some numbers came in on one of the networks, so we swapped the headline but didn't swap the picture. And we have people who are some are just still railing out the fact that Donald Trump is not a great person, which many people agree, and some who are trying to lessen the blow of their anti-Trumpness now that they know they need jobs in this post-election era, and Trump's going to be the person that will manage their political lives with jobs. So some people are trying to back away, as Trump does say, we're going to come together. We will come together. It will happen, he says. But we do know that Trump isn't really good with coming together, really good at with vengeance and just sort of being petty. We all actually know that. We'll see how this thing plays out going forward. This has been the most rambly first story going forward. It was a very late night and a very early morning. But as the dust settles, we're looking at our next president of the United States being the guy that used to be president of the United States, are now number 47. He's Donald Trump back in the saddle again. We'll go deeper into tell what this means over the next couple of days and weeks as we see a fleshing out of his cabinet, fleshing out of all of his plans and what it means for the future of us, US, and us, everyone out there. The picture doesn't really fit the headline, but Republicans win Senate majority with wins in Ohio and West Virginia. And that means in Ohio, Sherrod Brown lost his job. And in West Virginia, where the Democrat was Joe Manchin, who was a Democrat who voted Republican. That went Republican officially. But the picture we have there is Ted Cruz, who, by some odd reason, despite being Ted Cruz, is now sitting in his third term in the Senate. And I say that more of a flippantness. I kind of get how Ted Cruz is, Ted Cruz, and you go on. But there was a real, actual chance, seemingly chance by polls and by people with speaking, that Cruz is going to lose his seat because he's literally not popular in Texas. No one seems to like Ted Cruz anywhere, yet he wins. He's still leading Texas as a senator there. So it is what it is. But the big deal that's happened, of course, is the loss in Ohio for Sherrod Brown and the replacement of Joe Manchin in West Virginia and some other places as well. But basically, the chips fell for the Senate, as the Senate now has majority rule in that House. Not even with the vice president being there, so at the 51st vote. So if anything needs to be go through with the needs to go through, if anything needs to go through with the Trump agenda, it probably will happen based on the fact that the Senate is in the hands of the Republicans. We'll see them pushing on things such as healthcare, climate policy, and judicial appointments, and see what happens when they try to change what was done and undo things from the last administration. But we have to get one jab in, and that is the headline we have at number 3. Now, I changed the headline to say Democrats Josh Stein defeats Republican Mark Robinson in North Carolina's governor's race. But when you click on that link, Rolling Stone, you'll see a very spicy, spicy headline there. We did not want to get any sort of backlash or extra backlash based on all the things we're covering political this morning. So we went with that one. But yeah, the statement, the strong soldier, yeah, who and it's on the odder things where down ballots, in most cases, Democrats did fine. The Senate was one case where they knew they were gonna lose West Virginia, and they were almost positive Ohio was a threat, so those things were there. And of course, Texas was actually they thought was in play, but Ted Cruz was Ted Cruz. But here's a case where the months ago, maybe when he actually put his name in the hat and won the actual nomination, Republicans basically knew Mark Robinson wasn't the guy, but they were hoping he could, make some noise. And boy, did he make noise! But he was defeated pretty handily by Democrat Josh Stein for being Mark Robinson. So I don't have the full slate of pictures for gubernatorial races, how they worked out as well, or in the actual House. I don't have that one pulled up, but we do know this particular governor's race went to the other guy, and the other guy is a guy that's not a fill in the blank. There's a lot of really bad things you can say and call Mark Robinson. One that he called himself, well, he's not in charge of North Carolina at the moment. And finally, we're gonna do lighter things after do our little, breakaway to do our promotion stuff, but one last thing to talk about getting Elon Musk in for this hit as he was pledged to be some sort of role in the actual administration, but his $1,000,000 a day voter sweepstakes can now proceed, says a Pennsylvania judge, even though the election is over. But the judge says it's legal, it's fine, so any money that was given away or planned to be given away between when they sort of put a pause on it and now can still be given away. Will it be given away? Probably. Will it make a difference? Not really, because the election's over. Did it make a difference? Maybe. But we do know that it tells us that Elon Musk has a lot of money. He's definitely in play. And as I said earlier, about the pundits who are now sort of softening their blows or going even harder because they want to make sure they know how they feel about things. Change will come, obviously, with the new president. Changes of minds will come as people try to figure out what this means for themselves, because it is really about us individually, themselves. And change will come in a way how things will work for all of us in general. What this means, I said the same thing 3 times. What this means, it's going to take a little while to figure it out, and it won't be until January 6th, where he is officially made the next president of the United States. And whenever the inauguration is, somewhere around the 20th or so, when we start having the day one, we shall see if there's dictators on day one. We shall see if fluoride will be erased from our memory banks and our water. We will see if we get flying cars. Flying cars aren't happening. That one we're going to see not happen. But we will see what happens and who's going to be in charge of what exactly coming forward.